Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Jnanavarthini FDPPI's weekly knowledge session. Recently, we had a very lively discussion in our group about civil practices, and it was triggered by a question raised by Anirban on civil practices. And there was a lively discussion after that. And many questions were raised during that discussion. As customers, what are our rights when it comes to our credit records? What if a customer wants to access his or her credit score at any time? And what if a customer feels the data is not correct? So RBI has addressed some of these issues in its recent circular and has issued instructions to credit information companies and credit institutions. So today, Deepti Bhatia is going to talk about the circular and customer rights with respect to their credit records. Deepti is a versatile banking professional with 18 plus years of experience in consumer banking, covering retail liabilities, wealth management, and private banking. She's currently with HSBC. She's a certified lead implementer of PIMS and whole certification CIPPE and FDPPI's DPO data auditor certificate. And she recently took over the presidentship of FDPPI's Delhi chapter. Welcome, Deepti. Very happy to have you here. Over to you.
Thank you, Manju. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to take this forward. I will present some. It's a summary that I have made from the different circulars issued by RBI with regards to the credit institutions and credit information that the banks hold. I would like to have this more of a lively session. Everybody can contribute to it as and when. So I just to start with, it all prompted on the 26th October 2023, RBI released two circulars in the benefit of the consumers, the data principle, as we may call in our privacy language, under DPDPA, giving us the rights to access our information, which prompted me to go back to some regulation wherein the cibil and the other credit agencies have come in form. So I'll just start with the summary on that. The Credit Information Companies Regulation Act came 2005, and RBI holds the power to grant, reject, and cancel the registration of any company to act as a credit information company. Without having the license, any company cannot have perform the function of a credit information company, as you see. So what is exactly a credit institution? What all is covered? A credit institution who lends us the loans, basically in our normal language. It can be a banking company, it can be an NBFC, it can be public financial institution, financial corporation established by a state, housing finance institution. Any company is offering us credit cards and engaged in the distribution of credit. More so in our current circumstances where a lot of fintechs have come in and the whole lines of our normal credit is getting blurred by the introduction of buy now, pay later process that has come in, which was earlier a consumer durable loan or say a auto loan, or if you wanted to buy a appliance for your home, there was a consumer loan or a personal loan that we used to look for. Now you have this facility offered by the likes of Amazon, Flipkart, Ola. When you hire a cab, they give you a credit of 5,000, 2,000 instantly. Accessing that, they are all also covered under a credit institution by RBI. All the policies and regulations which a bank has to follow, these companies are also covered under same. What all information which is gathered, this is the basic definition of a credit information from CICRA. This is the amount of nature of the loans and advances outstanding under the credit cards, the nature of security which has been taken from the borrower, the guarantee furnished, and the creditworthiness of any borrower of a credit institution. This is all comprising of the credit information of a person. It also comprises of credit card information, credit card account treated as a NPA if a minimum amount due, as mentioned, is not fully paid within 90 days of the cycle. This was covered later on as in a credit card, usually a period of 30 to 40 days is given to pay the card. And there have been instances where minimum amount was paid and the other cards were used to pay for the first card. And the credit was rotated in order to take the advantage of the cycle. So if the amount is not paid fully within 90 days of the statement, then it can be classified as a NPA. Your credit information is also has your suit filed if there is a willful default. It is all reported to the CIC from the credit institute as part of your credit history. It also comprises settlement data, which is covered as part of the credit information of a borrower. If the settlement is on both the parts, basically that you have paid your dues and settled, should be in the favor of a borrower, basically, and not should reflect as negatively in the consumer's report. There were earlier cross-reporting. The guidelines for cross-reporting have also been introduced, where the individual is a borrower and is also borrowing as part of a non-individual as signing as a co-borrower in a company. All that information is also reflected under your credit information history. Your income data, which is taken, your ITRs, they are not to be reported to the credit institution companies by the lender, because that is a confidential data that, if taken, is part of the bank or the lender. It is not to be passed on to the credit institution company. Updation of credit information is to be done in monthly basis between the credit institution and the credit information processing company. Basically, as we may say, cibil. There is to be a unique identification number of a borrower. Every borrower has to be allotted a unique identification number, or say a PAN number can be taken, or Aadhaar number, or a passport number, because if you are taking a loan from various banks or lenders and it is being reported, then there were instances where the compilation of the credit data history was getting impacted negatively in favor of the borrower, and hence the unique identification number has to be allotted against that PAN, and that is to be used for further processing and maintaining the history of the borrower. Any reports where the loans have been declined is also a part of the credit information. Disclosing disputed information is also part of your credit information, and this helps maintain the credit score. If we are disputing a particular information in our reports, which we seem incorrect, and it is not under process of investigation, that has to reflect in our credit history until it is settled. Unauthorized access to the credit information. This also comes from the Act, which says that only the borrower, the credit information company, or the specified user will have access to all this credit history of a person, and not any other company or individual can access it unless otherwise if it is directed by the court or any other law enforcement. What does basically a credit report comprises of? It has your consumer name, which has your personally identified information. name, date of birth, gender, PAN number, passport, etc. identifications. Or addresses, different addresses which are being shared. The credit score which is decided. The different loans that have been taken in the past and current. The payment history, on the pattern on how the payment is being done. Is it being done monthly, or is there any outstanding? If it is done even to the close of a due date, or is it paid well in time? All that is part of the payment history and account classification. Um, any kind of inquiry that is done to the credit information company, that is cibil or equifax, all that is also, if your information is pulled out from there, that also is part of the credit report, and how many times the inquiry has been sent, and it can have an impact on the credit report. The parameters of credit score, the length of credit history, the number of defaults, severity of defaults, recent repayment trends, the number of periodic intervals since the most recent credit account defaults, number of accounts which are overdue, account overdue, presence of charge or write-off, what all loans are there, personal loan, mortgage, credit card, etc. The number of loan inquiries made recently, the occupation, income, length of time of in the current address. All these are part of the credit score, which is decided. We also have a specified user definition, which is different than the credit institution. Basically, the credit institution, credit information company, it is supposed to be a member. And recently in 2021, the guidelines have been specified by the RBI. This company, the specified user, which is accessing the information from the credit institute, in information company, has to be incorporated in India. The MOA explicitly states that the processing of information for the support or benefit of credit institution only. The net worth is defined as 2 crores minimum. The company ownership has to be Indian residents. And it has to have a certification from a CISA certified auditor regarding the information security standards it is maintaining. So a specified user obtains the information from a credit information company, which includes the effective credit decision, serial defaulters, evaluating risk of its company, judging credit worthiness of a borrower. Basically, it's the processor of the information, of the accuracy. It also lays down the regulation also lays down some obligations for the specified user. It ensures the accuracy of the credit information, and the Act defines in Section 20 and 22 the maintaining of privacy of a credit information and protecting the information from unauthorized use. It is worth noting that the privacy principles and furnishing of credit information is already present in the Credit Information Act, Institution Act in Clause 19. As taken from there, a credit information company or a credit institution or a specified user, as the case may be, in the possession or control of credit information, shall take steps to safeguard security safeguards as may be prescribed, regarding the data maintained by them. It has to be accurate, complete, duly protected against any loss or unauthorized access. The privacy principle is clearly defined. All the credit institution, the credit specified user and credit information company, whatever the privacy practices each of them are following, since each of them are each other's members and are exchanging the data, they have to comply with the same privacy principle. And this was given to us much earlier, before the DPDPA came into existence. It also, with the clause 21, empowers us, the data principal and the data owner, for a data correction, deletion, addition, within 30 days of such request filed with the credit information company. So this particular right of a data owner or a data principal existed much before the DPDPA privacy, the duties and the rights of a data principal came in. That as a data owner, we always had the right to get the data correction, deletion, and addition done. Any questions or anything anybody wants to share, please? Okay.
Go ahead, Deepti.
Yeah. So in 2014, there was a comprehensive review done, of a committee wherein, the credit information sharing, the credit information companies in India, the data formats, the common data quality index, and the credit information report all was assessed, with the international standards in consultation with the principles of the World Bank and the best practices adopted by the other countries. And set of guidelines were set in. A lot of mismanagement of the data happens, wherein the data is shared by the credit institution with the credit information company. So a common data quality index was adopted. I'll just quickly share a screen from there. Just give me a minute. This is an Exercise 6, stating the data quality index, um, wherein how the report is decided and how the data has to be reported between the credit institution and the credit information company was decided, so that the credit report which is generated and the credit history that is maintained is the quality of that is maintained. So basically it covers the name, date of birth, identifier, PIN code, phone, all these details. Coming back to the circular which recently came in to strengthen the customer service rendered by credit information companies and credit institution. The summary here is the intimation of access to credit information report and updation of credit information with the credit information company. The consumers, the CIC shall send alerts through SMS and email to the customer when the credit information report is accessed by the specified user. Basically, when the loan is, you've applied for a loan and the person, they are processing your information and they have taken that data from there, then a alert has to be sent to the customer alerting that their data has been accessed. Credit institution shall also send alert SMS or email to customers while submitting such information to the credit information companies regarding default days past due in existing credit facilities. So if there is a default in the payment of a credit installment or a payment, then and when they are submitting that data for particular record, then the user is also going to be alerted on the same. Credit institutions are advised to organize special awareness campaigns to update the mobile numbers and email ID wherever it is not updated. And when if it is given, then they have to update that in the record and follow the process. Any reason for rejection of request for data correction by the credit institution? A list of reasons for rejection of request shall be circulated by the credit information company to all the credit institutes. Basically, the cibil has to share the reasons of reject of such request to all credit institutions, such as a bank or any other lender. The credit institution shall use the same while communicating the rejection of the request for data correction made by the customer during the grievance redress process. Disclosure of complaints on credit information reporting by credit information company. cibil and any other credit information company, they have to disclose all the complaints filed against them on their website, which can be readily accessed by the borrower or the general public. Easy access to full credit report for the individuals by the credit information company. Every borrower has a free right to access one full credit report. Full credit report basically is a detailed report with regards to the credit score and all the information that is held by the credit information company. And that one free report is to be given when asked. And it has to be readily, easily accessible on the website. This is not a recent facility that the RBI has given for the borrower or the consumer. It was earlier also notified on January 1, 2017, where it was a separate circular was issued that the report latest position of the credit institution's exposure to the individual as per the record, and the free report is made accessible to the borrower. So this again has been reiterated in the recent circular. The other instructions which have come in are setting up of nodal points by the credit institution for the grievance redressal. Root cause analysis of every complaint has to be done, and as per the data quality index and on half-yearly basis. The algorithm on which the credit score is done is also to be reviewed on half-yearly basis. And the other circular is with regards to the compensation to the customers for delay of the updation and rectification of credit information. Any complainant shall be entitled to a compensation of ₹100 per calendar day in their complaint is not resolved within a period of 30 calendar days from the date of initial filing of the complaint with the credit institution or the credit information company. If it is the credit institution shall pay a compensation to the complainant if the credit institution has failed to send the updated credit information to the credit information company with the appropriate correction within 21 calendar days wherein the complaint was made. So the 30 days is basically 6 plus 21 days wherein the correction has been done and the report given to the complainant. The compensation structure, the complainant has to be informed in case the complaint is rejected, where the grievance involves inaccurate credit information provided by more than one credit institute. The complainant shall be registered by the complainant with the concerned credit information company. The credit information company shall coordinate with all the concerned credit institutes and furnish a comprehensive resolution on the same. The date of resolution is the date when the corrected information report is given to the complainant via postal address or the email, as the case may be. So, while making a complaint, the credit institution and the credit information company has to give the borrower or the complainant A platform where the contact details, email ID, and the bank account details or the UPI ID for the compensation has to be provided upfront. The compensation, if there is, has to be paid within 5 working days of the resolution of the complaint. We can open the forum for discussion.
One question I had, Subhareddy here. See, with the passage of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, clearly in Section 38 it is said that the provisions of that act shall be prevailing over any other existing laws to the extent of any such conflict between that act and any other existing law, right? Where does that leave all of these laws, whatever law we were talking about, or then the RBI directives and all of that? Will all of these get subsumed under the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or what happens? Navi sir, anybody?
Yeah, I think this was
anyone?
exactly my question also,
Yeah.
Subhareddy. So thanks for highlighting this. So my question is exactly the same. This is basically a circular that we are looking at, and as per the section mentioned by Subhareddy sir, it clearly mentioned that the DPDPA will not overpower any other existing law.
It will
This is
overpower.
not a
It says
law
it will
which we are
overpower.
looking at, right?
Ah,
So
No, Mr. Anirban,
yeah, Deep sir.
if my understanding right, DPDPA will be prevailing over other existing laws with
in
respect
case
to
of any
personal data.
conflict, sir. Yeah, in
Huh?
case of any conflict. So I'm reading.
In
I
case
have
of
section
conflict,
38. Yeah, 38 in front
conflict
of me. There are two
concerned to,
subsections. Yeah.
in case of conflict
Yes.
in relation to digital personal data,
Correct.
the DPDPA will prevail
Correct.
over the
Correct.
previous all other laws.
Correct.
That is a correct question. And once the DPDPA comes into effect, then it will be, this is act where we have to claim, we have to exercise our rights,
Yes.
not the other way.
Hi Deepti, this is SP Arya.
Yes.
Okay, I have a particular point here, or rather few points. One, the 100 rupees per day delay is too less, okay, which I consider when I compare it with the penalties put on in DPA or other acts, okay, which are very heavy, up to 250 crores. And paying just 100 rupees per day delay is very less at all. They will hardly care about it, okay. One. Secondly, uh, whenever somebody is going for a loan and apply for a loan, only then he come to know that his cibil score is too less or some transactions are there, and then suddenly he finds these are all fake transactions or not correct, and he runs from pillar to post to that particular bank or credit information, credit company, and then get it corrected. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes, especially, it has affected. I will give you an example. My son, okay, there were 2 or 3 transactions where he has not paid his credit card installments, but which were incorrect at all. But at the time, because he had very short window to go abroad for his study, so he was not given student loans. Okay, so we have to furnish his studies money from the our funds only. Okay, and later on it found that that was wrong at all. So there was no way to put a penalty on such people who have affected such a serious delay in can say in student loan. Okay, that has happened in my case also. Okay, I think I got some Royal Deutsche Bank credit card. Okay, they sent me some 2000 kit, and but I didn't find it okay, and I returned it. I furnished that receipt also. But I have returned it, but they continued it and they made it within 2 years. They made it 6,000 rupees, and that was affecting my cibil score. And in my life ever, I have defaulted or I delayed my installments ever for any loan or credit card, but that small thing affected. Okay, so see, why should I run after credit score company or a bank, rather even bank also, which are either can say taking the wrong information or being provided wrong information by the bank, who probably outsource it to some data entry company, and they put all the wrong information and people suffer. There have been multiple instances of wrong entries in their credit card information. There must be some serious penalties on these companies. They are taking it too lightly. It affects people on their very, very in time of emergencies and urgencies.
I understand, sir. And from my experience in the banking industry, I have seen the credit card problems from the consumer side also. Personally, I've also been part of a little grievance from one of the credit cards, which I had cancelled, and they did not cancel it in their records. Yes, 100 rupees is less, but we are seeing actually, one, as a consumer, probably we need to be more proactive and take the advantage of that one free credit report that is there, and analyze our own credit score on that report, on what, not exactly the score, but what information is being reflected against us. There is some start that I see now here, when they are saying that if somebody is accessing our report, then the consumer has to be alerted. So with this, I see some point, some way that it is going to be a little more consumer friendly. Right now, yes, the grievances, we don't have actually the proper channel to process these complaints as a consumer. We only, think twice before going and filing a complaint. There was a very recent credit card issue that I faced with Standard Chartered, though I had worked with them for the longest period of time in my career. But in the last 2 months, I faced a little problem. And after calling them some 10 times, that issue was resolved. I think as a consumer, we also lack going to the proper channel and filing a complaint. Yes, circulars can be very easy, or the acts can empower. And in 2015 onwards, this free report was there, but hardly anybody today uses that facility. I mean, how many from us right now on the meeting would have taken and generated that one free report? And if there was a problem, not filed a complaint somewhere that this free report is not there, like we were discussing the other day, and one was also saying that this is not free. Somebody, his friend was being charged for that. There is a provision of the free report, which is an international standard practice, which was adopted after 2015. The charges, other than that, if we want to access the reports after that, are there, because that again is a provision in the Act that they can charge us minimum 100 rupees plus whatever they decide on that, because they're going to provide us any other facility.
But
Right now, what I am, one of the concerns which I noticed was how easy that BNPL scheme, which is infiltrated us with regards to the app. Like I used the Ola the other day, or the Uber, and I used that 5,000 instant pay facility, and I later paid it off. But then I realized that while using that, my credit history and report has been accessed by them. And I was only just using a cab. I did not ask for any credit facility. So that company also has my credit history with them.
Miss Deepti,
yes.
the 5,000 rupees credit in advance, use fund pay later is a credit. So you are a creditor.
Yes. So if any of us uses the Ola Money or any other app, say Amazon Pay, now use this and pay later facility, that is basically a consumer loan categorized by RBI.
Yes.
So
Consumer
why
loan or industrial loan.
that facility is because they, when we just click on that and accept that facility, in the fine print, we are accepting the terms and conditions that we allow them to access our credit history from cibil.
Yes.
My point, Deepti, once again is that okay, fine, 100 rupees I was talking about is too low. That is for delay only, in resolving your complaint. But in case of wrong data being say shown in my credit information, which affects my further loan approvals or some urgencies, in that case, companies should be, charged with some penalties. Customer always suffers actually.
Let me pitch in,
I think in this
Arya
case,
sir, a little bit here.
Anirban, just listen to me. I'm
Yes, sir.
raising another point. I'm connecting it with the DPDPA. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
DPDPA
please.
has a provision if your data is not correct, personal data is not correctly highlighted or recorded or processed correctly or recorded correctly, you can say file a complaint against them, and that penalty, that the company can face a penalty.
No,
Am I correct?
Arya sir,
Yes.
see the logic as per my understanding, let me put across to you. So the one credit report every year to every customer is given. That's the facility given so that we can have our own verification, and if anything wrong is there, we can take up. That is the purpose of giving
Not
one.
everyone is smart enough to access cibil score all the time.
Sir, that is
I'm
what
talking
I'm
about
telling.
the simple people, not about me. I can access my report once a year, but what about those who never check their cibil score?
Sir,
No,
that is not
both
excuse.
Adepu sir and
Sir.
Arya sir. Adepu sir and Arya sir. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for interjecting. My
Please,
question
please.
it brings us back to the original point of conflict between DPDPA and this provisions. This
Yes,
is
sir.
also an access. This credit report can also be termed as an access request, and the Digital Personal Data Protection Act is also as a data subject access request. Now,
Absolutely.
under Section 38(2), can somebody interpret that provision is in conflict with the DPDPA? Therefore, the right to access the one free credit report can be subsumed and say that, boss, you come through the data subject access request route because there is a conflict, which is a broader question, which again comes back to the original question, that in case there is a conflict between this and the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, from what it appears right now, it looks like the provisions of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act would prevail. And it is good in one point of view that, okay, because there is a fine here, there is a fine there. Now, this company should be now subject to 250 crore fine and not 100 rupee per day fine, Arya sir. Okay,
Absolutely.
so that is one interpretation. Okay.
Yes, yes. I just wanted to bring that to the okay, that
Yeah.
side also. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, credit the cibil sort of companies should send alerts when there is a fall in their credit score, which is not happening.
No, sir, that they
Yes.
do only when you are subscribed.
Absolutely. That's the problem. You have to pay for
Sir,
everything.
that's
They are
the
using
additional
you.
processing facility that they are giving, which is beyond what is given by the law. So that is why they are free to charge on that.
But madam, I think they are customers of the bank. The bank should inform them.
Yeah, bank is yes. We have relation with the bank, not with the cibil
In
or any
fact,
CIC.
banks are customers of the credit information companies, that they have to pay a membership fee to become a credit members of them, and compulsory now that after the act that they have to, instead of giving it only to one of the credit information company, they have to share the data with all the four of them, so that the information held by in the central registry is correct per person.
Let,
In
let
one
me
of
put
my
forward
friend's
some
case,
points for a minute or two. Okay,
please.
if we look at this guideline, beautifully and brilliantly explained by Deepti, and if we look at the explanatory note of Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, it talks about the similar principle which talks in GDPR. The first principle is definitely going to be the processing has to be lawful, fair to the individual concerned, and it has to be transparent to individual. Now, if an individual is taking multiple consumer loans, like pay later from a cab company, pay later from a shopping company, then a home loan maybe, then bought a refrigerator from another finance company. So there are 4 loans this person is running, and this guideline is giving the option for one free access to the report. Now, so Bright sir might pitch in and say that in the other country, they charge something for a subject access request. Yes, there is a provision of any cost. Even if you raise RTI today in India, you have to pay for anything occurs for, photocopies or any other device related cost where you want the documents to be photocopied or pass it to you or ship it back to you. But I have problem with this one free access. Okay, and I really want to understand what is the logic behind this one free access of my own personal data, where I have to pay a fixed fee, and it is not 100 rupees, it's 600 rupees minimum I have to pay to get 3 months subscription with one of the credit agencies to get my live civil data when I am receiving SMS that there is something change made. So this is a clear violation of transparency principle. It is not transparent. I don't want to see report. I want to see activity, what is happening on my account. I can't see those activities as well. If I log into my credit agency account, I see activity dated back in January 2023. And I have to wait for another 3 months to get the new one. So my only point here is, and this is definitely not a law or act we are looking at. We have lawyers here who can add their point. So we are definitely going to overpower, but there is no meaning of this guideline coming after Digital Personal Data Protection Act, where the individual's rights are clearly mentioned. It has to be lawful, transparent, and they will get their rights for correction, rectification, and the other. That's exactly what my point.
Yes, I do agree, Anirban. But again, that's not my point precisely. There should be a proactive information to the customers from the bank side. Whenever there is a transaction which is going against him and being sent to cibil, they should inform the customer immediately. Because this is going
cibil
to
is
impact
informing customer. So cibil is informing customer saying that there is a change in your account or there is an activity on your account.
Only to subscribe, I can say customers only, not all.
Maybe that could
Yes,
be a
it's
possibility.
not all. It's not all. It's not all.
I never got, because I'm not subscribed. I never get any information from cibil at all.
Then again, this is a violation.
Once in a blue moon, I get you can check your cibil score. Okay, that's fine. But if there is a change in my cibil score or something drastic happening, it doesn't say neither bank alert or no, because it has happened. There was once a Twitter filled with the complaint about the cibil score, and one of my friends has faced it. From a bank, they got at least 10 transactions where it shows that that loan has no installment has not been paid. And when he applied for a loan, bank told you have not paid your 10 installment or 10 installment. I have never got any loan from you, and how can I pay my installment? And then they have to correct it, and it took at least almost 2-3 months to and fro, and then he got his records corrected.
So I think in a summary, to me, this is a direct violation of individual's right, to be honest.
Dr. Anirban,
Yes, sir.
see, your contention as per DPDPA is correct, but you are not a customer or a service seeker from the cibil or any CIC, because you're not subscribed and you're not executed a contract with the CIC. Yes, you are a customer of the bank. You can take up with anything with your bank. The logic of CIC is that they are the service provider to the banking industry, financial institutions. You want a
sir, sorry to stop you there, sir. No, on this point, sir. But how I will know that my bank has made some changes on my account?
You ask me your bank.
So that information you will be getting the alerts going forward. Now the credit institution and bank have been given 6 months to comply with this new provision, that whenever the data is accessed or any default data is reported to the cibil, then the alert has to go to the consumer. That alert provision has been introduced now by them, that if there is a past due that is being reported, that I have not paid an installment, or if there is any outstanding, or if there is any negative report being given to cibil against my PAN number or my identification, then I am going to get an alert from that bank. This is the latest provision. That
But
alert
but
thing
but
on
but the point is that it is happening in 2023. Whether 100 rupees can say delay penalty or in complaint resolution, or whether this one you were talking about alert to be sent, these must have been done 10 years or 15 years back.
At least
so
in
better
2016
late
when the
not
act was
than
passed.
never.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
quite pathetic that where are we actually? We are not doing things dot on time and delayed by 15 years.
Miss Deepti,
Yes.
hello. See,
Yes.
normally when we don't pay our credit card due on a due date, or we don't pay EMI of our loan in a due date to bank definitely will alerting no by the SMS, email, everything coming it. Then
But
why?
if there is a overdue payment which I have defaulted and that is being reported after 90 days to cibil, as per the latest instruction given to the credit institutions now, that if they are filing it and making it in my cibil report, then they have to send me an SMS or an email saying that this is being reported against you. So
Right.
I at least get an alert saying that this negative information is being recorded for me.
Right. Now, as all banks, they are sending all the measures, SMS, WhatsApp, and emails. Whenever there's a default, there's not a payment. They have 2-3 times they remind it. Okay. So we can't expect CIBIL to alert us. As a consumers
No.
of banking industry, see now what Bhatia sir and Anirban telling is, why can't CIBIL be transparent? CIBIL is not for our service provider. Banks are our service provider. Banks are all doing it. So when we get a say, SMS or a WhatsApp or a email, we have to take action against the bank. We have to go and pay or to tell them, give a request, please, I am not able to, you charge interest.
Absolutely
what-
correct, sir. Absolutely correct. And I see it a violation of my fundamental rights. I personally, okay, and not giving me access to my data to see is actually a question on my fundamental rights.
Mr. Anirban, not Anirban.
Adituji, I don't agree with you here.
No problem, sir. Let us discuss
Sorry to
it.
disagree. CIBIL has to do it. If they are using my personal data, if they
No.
are using and making money out of it, they have the right to inform me.
Sir, CIBIL not selling any data to anyone. No credit company selling any data to anyone, except serving the credit institution like banks.
The cibil, if that cibil report is being asked, say by any lender who we have recently contacted, and if they are giving that, then they have to inform us that the report has been given. Like we are getting an
Yes.
alert from our CKYC alert that our KYC, central KYC has been taken, or my Aadhaar details have been taken by so and so. And I'm getting an alert on that. That is when the cibil will alert me that this data has been taken by that specified user.
Deepti, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Anirban.
Yeah,